I woke to pain radiating through my body, lying in the twisted wreckage of our car. Clara's voice sliced through the air, cold and calculating. "Victor, they're gone. The inheritance is ours." Her words landed like a bucket of ice water, chilling me to the core. My daughter, my own flesh and blood, had betrayed me. I am Eleanor Voss, 60 years old, a retired librarian from our quiet town. For decades, I poured my heart into my family, giving up dreams of travel to ensure Clara and Thomas had everything. Memories of happier times flooded back, cozy dinners with laughter echoing in our warm home, Walter tinkering with his clocks while the kids played nearby. Those days felt perfect once, a life built on love and sacrifice. Now Clara's words shattered that illusion, leaving me stunned in the ravine. I lay still, pretending to be unconscious, my only chance to survive their plot. They didn't know my secret, a hidden camera at home, recording every word of their scheme. Clara paced nearby, her voice tense. "We need to call for help, Victor." He groaned, clutching his leg. "Hurts like hell, but we stick to the story." Their plan was clear. Stage a tragic accident, claim our savings, and walk away clean. My heart raced as I kept my breathing shallow, barely audible. Clara's betrayal stung deep, a wound worse than the bruises covering me. I'd given 40 years to my children, sacrificing my own aspirations for their futures. Now, this treachery was my reward. Victor shifted closer, checking my pulse roughly. "She's gone, Clara. No pulse." His lie gave me hope. They believed I was dead. I stayed motionless, listening as Clara whispered nervously. "What if someone finds them first?" Victor hissed back, his tone sharp. "Stay calm. It's just an accident." Their voices carried a rehearsed quality, like actors perfecting a deadly script. I caught Walter's faint hand twitch beside me, a silent signal he was alive too. Relief washed over me, mingling with the pain in my ribs. We were in this together, bound by 40 years of marriage and a shared will to expose the truth. The sound of distant footsteps broke the tension. A motorist's voice called down, "Anyone alive down there?" Clara's response was immediate, dripping with false panic. "Help! My parents are hurt!" Victor joined in, his groan exaggerated. "The car? Brakes failed." Their performance was flawless, but I sensed cracks in their story. The motorist, an older man with sharp eyes, shouted back, "I'm calling an emergency now!" Sirens wailed faintly in the distance, growing louder. Clara knelt near Victor, whispering urgently, "Act hurt but alive, okay?" He nodded, wincing. "Got it. Poor in-laws. Tragic crash." Their words twisted my stomach, a mockery of the love I'd given them. I'd sacrificed so much, working long library hours to fund their dreams, only for them to plot my end. The hidden camera loomed large in my mind, my secret weapon against their greed. At home, it had captured Clara's voice weeks ago, plotting coldly. "We tamper with the brakes, Victor. It's foolproof." He'd agreed, his tone chilling. "They won't suspect a thing." That footage was my lifeline now, proof of their betrayal. As rescuers descended with ropes, scraping the rocks, I kept my eyes closed, body limp. A paramedic checked me, his fingers on my wrist. "Faint pulse here. She's alive." Clara gasped nearby, her shock almost convincing. "Oh, thank God." Victor muttered something, his voice uneasy. The motorist watched them closely, his gaze piercing. "What exactly happened?" he asked, suspicion lacing his tone. Clara hesitated, a telltale pause. "Well, the brakes just gave out." Victor cut in too quickly. "Yeah, swerved right off the road." Their story wobbled, and I seized the moment. With the slightest effort, I twitched my finger toward the motorist. He noticed, leaning closer. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" Another twitch, deliberate but subtle. His eyes widened slightly. "She's alert." Clara's voice sharpened. "What? That's impossible." Victor grabbed her arm, his tone low. "Quiet. Let them work." The air grew thick with tension as paramedics secured me to a stretcher. Pain jolted through my arm, but I bit back any sound, staying in character. Walter's stretcher rose beside mine, his faint groan a reminder of our shared fight. The motorist climbed with us, his voice steady. "I saw the crash site. Something's off." Clara tried to cover. Her words rushed. "It was just an accident, really." As we reached the top, ambulances waited, their lights flashing red in the dusk. Paramedics rushed us inside, Clara trailing behind. "I'm family. Let me see them." The motorist blocked her gently. "Wait here, ma'am." His tone carried authority, like someone who'd seen lies before. I caught his eye briefly, signaling again with a finger twitch. He nodded, understanding something was wrong. In the ambulance, Walter squeezed my hand weakly. "The camera, Eleanor. It's got everything." His voice, though faint, carried resolve. I nodded back, my mind racing. The hospital wasn't far, and with it came our chance to expose Clara and Victor. Their betrayal had pushed us to the edge, but we'd survived their trap. At the hospital, doctors swarmed, their voices a blur of urgent orders. "She's stable but critical," one said, checking my vitals. I kept my eyes half closed, maintaining the act of near death. Clara hovered outside the room, her voice loud. "Please, I need to see my mom." Victor paced beside her, muttering, "This is bad, Clara." The motorist, now revealed as a retired cop, spoke to arriving officers. "The crash didn't look right. Check their story." His sharp instinct gave me hope. An officer approached my stretcher, his voice gentle. "Ma'am, can you speak?" I opened my eyes slowly, voice raspy but clear. "My daughter planned this." Clara overheard, her face paling. "What?" "No, she's confused." Victor pulled her back, hissing, "Shut up! Don't make it worse." I pointed weakly toward home. "Hidden camera. In the living room." The officer nodded, his expression grave. "We'll send someone to retrieve it." Clara stammered, her composure cracking. What camera?" "She's not thinking straight." Victor sweated, his voice sharp. "She's imagining things, officer." But the retired cop stepped forward, his tone firm. "I saw her signal me. She's lucid." Clara's eyes darted nervously, and Victor's glare turned desperate. The officers detained them, voices calm but commanding. "Stay here for questioning," Clara protested, her voice shrill. "This is ridiculous. We're victims." Victor echoed her, less convincingly. "It was an accident, I swear." Their lies unraveled as police moved swiftly. Walter, now conscious, whispered to me, "We did it, Eleanor. They're done." His hand squeezed mine, a lifeline in the chaos. The camera footage waited at home, ready to expose their plot. Clara's voice plotting the brake sabotage, Victor's cold agreement. My sacrifice for them, decades of love, long library shifts, dreams set aside, had meant nothing to their greed. But now, their betrayal would be their downfall. As nurses wheeled me to a room, the officer returned. "We're retrieving the footage now." Relief flooded through me, easing the pain in my side. Clara's voice echoed from the hall, accusing me. "Mom, how could you do this?" Her words were hollow, a final act of manipulation. The hospital lights glared overhead, but hope burned brighter. We'd survived the crash, outsmarted their plan. The retired cop stayed nearby, his presence reassuring. "I knew something was wrong," he said softly. Walter's faint smile met mine, our bond unbroken. The truth was coming, unstoppable now. Clara and Victor's alliance crumbled as they bickered outside, each blaming the other. "You pushed for this," Victor snapped. Clara retorted, "Don't pin it on me." Their chaos was music to my ears, a sign their lies couldn't hold. The betrayal cut deep, but justice was close. I'd given my all to my family, only to face their treachery. Yet in this hospital bed, I felt a spark of triumph. They thought me weak, but I was ready to fight. Memories of happier times haunted me as I lay in the hospital bed, the beeping monitors a stark contrast to the warmth of our past. I remembered cozy evenings around our oak table, Thomas's laughter mingling with Clara's chatter, Walter's clocks ticking softly in the background. We'd share stories of school and work, my library book stacked nearby, a life woven with love. I sacrificed so much for them, giving up art classes and travel dreams to fund their education, pouring every ounce of myself into their futures. Those days felt like a distant dream now, shattered by Clara's chilling words in the ravine. As nurses adjusted my IV, the pain in my arm dulled, but the ache of betrayal burned fiercely. Clara and Victor's visits had grown frequent, their smiles too perfect, their words laced with greed. "Mom, this house is too big for you now," Clara would say, her tone sweet but calculated. Victor nodded, his eyes scanning our furniture. "We could manage your finances better." Their insistence felt wrong, like poison seeping into my trust. I'd started noticing the cracks months ago. Their sudden interest in our savings was odd for a couple with a thriving art gallery. Clara's voice, once warm, now carried a sharp edge. "You're getting older, Mom. Let us help." Victor's charm masked something colder, his laugh too forced. Suspicion took root in my mind, growing with every visit. "Something's not right," I whispered to Walter one night, dishes clinking as we washed them. He sighed, his hands pausing. "Eleanor, they just care about us." But his eyes held doubt, a shadow I couldn't ignore. That's when I acted, my librarian's instinct for truth kicking in. I installed a hidden camera in our living room, tucked behind a bookshelf, its lens catching every word. Clara didn't suspect a thing, her confidence blinding her. Victor, too, spoke freely, their voices clear on the footage I reviewed late at night. The camera revealed their plot, words that still chilled me. "We tamper with the breaks," Clara said, pacing our rug. Victor leaned closer, smirking. "It'll look like an accident." My stomach twisted as I watched, their greed laid bare. They wanted our savings, the house, everything we'd built over decades. My sacrifice meant nothing to them, 40 years of love discarded for money. But the footage held a darker truth, one Walter confessed in a trembling voice one evening. "Eleanor, there's something I've kept from you." His hands shook, gripping a coffee mug. "About Thomas's death." My heart stopped, the room spinning. Thomas, our bright son, died 25 years ago, in a hiking accident, or so we thought. Walter's eyes welled up. "I saw Clara push him, Eleanor. Over money." His words hit like a storm, tearing through my memories of Thomas's smile, his dreams of engineering. Walter explained in a broken voice, his head bowed. They argued at the gorge. Thomas found bank statements, proof that Clara stole from our savings. She'd been taking small amounts thinking we wouldn't notice. Thomas confronted her, furious. "You're stealing from Mom and Dad!" he shouted, papers in hand. Clara's face twisted, her voice venomous. "You always get everything!" Then she pushed him, deliberate and cold, into the abyss. Walter arrived too late, finding Clara sobbing. "It was an accident," she begged. He believed her, or wanted to save our family. My sacrifice, my love, had nurtured a monster, and Walter's silence protected her. I clutched the hospital blanket, anger surging through me. "Why didn't you tell me?" My voice cracked, raw with pain. Walter looked away, guilt etched on his face. "She was our daughter, Eleanor. I couldn't lose you both." His choice haunted him, small thefts continuing as he stayed silent. But now the camera changed everything. It captured Clara's latest plan, her voice cold on tape. "The crash will solve it all." Victor's agreement echoed, chillingly calm. "No one will question it." My resolve hardened. The footage my weapon against their lies. They thought me weak, an old woman past her prime. But I was a librarian, a keeper of truths, and I'd expose theirs. Clara's visits to the hospital grew tense, her eyes darting as she lingered outside my room. "Mom, how are you feeling?" Her voice dripped with false concern, a pause betraying her nerves. Victor hovered behind, his charm fading. "We're just worried, Eleanor." His words sounded rehearsed, his glance uneasy. The retired cop, Officer Daniels, watched them closely, his presence a comfort. He'd seen my signal in the ravine, knew something was wrong. "Their story's shaky," he told an officer quietly, his tone sharp. I caught Clara's flinch, her hand gripping Victor's. We're just shaken up," she stammered, her sweet act crumbling. Victor cut in, too quickly. "Yeah, the brakes failed suddenly. Their lies didn't align," and Daniels noticed. I whispered to a nurse, Jane, when Clara stepped away. "Check my house, hidden camera in the bookshelf." Jane's eyes widened, but she nodded. "I'll tell the police." Her voice was steady, a lifeline in the chaos. The officers moved fast, one heading to our home to retrieve the footage. Clara returned, her face pale. "What's going on?" Her tone sharpened, a hint of panic. Victor's jaw tightened. "Nothing, just routine checks." But his eyes betrayed fear, sweat beading on his brow. I lay still, feigning weakness, my heart pounding with hope. The camera would expose them, every word damning. My sacrifice, my love for Clara had been betrayed. But I wasn't powerless. I'd outsmarted them. My quiet strength their undoing. As the night deepened, officers returned with the footage. "It's clear," one said, his voice firm. "They planned the crash." Clara overheard, her gasp audible. "No, that's impossible." Her voice cracked, no longer sweet. Victor pulled her back, hissing, "Keep quiet, Clara." Their alliance wavered, blame flickering between them. Daniels approached my bed, his eyes kind but serious. "Mrs. Voss, we have enough to arrest them." Relief flooded me, easing the ache in my chest. My sacrifice hadn't been for nothing. Justice was close. Clara's voice rose from the hall. "This is a mistake." Victor's tone turned desperate. "She's lying, officer." Their chaos was proof, their lies unraveling in real time. I glanced at Walter, his hand finding mine under the blanket. "We're almost there," he whispered, his voice weak but resolute. The hospital room felt less cold now, the truth warming me. Clara had taken Thomas, stolen from us, and planned our deaths, but she underestimated me. My camera, my plan, had turned the tables. As officers moved to detain them, Clara's sobs echoed, a performance for no one. "Mom, how could you?" Her accusation stung, but I felt no guilt. Victor muttered, "It was her idea." Clara snapped back, "Don't lie." Their unity collapsed, just as I'd hoped. The footage was my triumph, a librarian's quiet revenge. I'd sacrificed everything for them, but now I fought for the truth. The police prepared arrest warrants, their radios crackling with updates. Daniel stayed near, his presence grounding. "You're safe now," he said, his voice calm. I nodded, my resolve steel. Clara and Victor's voices faded as they were led away, still arguing. My heart steadied, the weight of betrayal lifting slightly. The camera had captured their greed, their plot to end us for money. My sacrifice, 40 years of love, had been mocked, but I wasn't broken. Walter's eyes met mine. A silent vow to finish this. The hospital buzzed around us, but I felt a spark of hope. The truth was out and justice was coming. I'd act soon, my plan unfolding, ready to end their lives for good. The hospital room buzzed with quiet urgency as nurses checked my monitors, their movements swift but gentle. I lay still, my arm throbbing under the sling, but my mind raced with purpose. The hidden camera's footage was now with the police, a ticking bomb ready to destroy Clara and Victor's lies. Officer Daniels, the retired cop who'd saved us, stood by my door, his eyes scanning the hall. "We're securing the evidence," he said, his voice steady. I nodded faintly, relief mixing with the fire in my chest. Clara's betrayal, her cold plan to kill us for our savings, fueled my resolve. She thought me weak, an old woman past her prime, but I was ready to fight. Walter stirred beside me, his crutches leaning against the bed. "Eleanor, we've got them," he whispered, his tone firm despite his pain. I squeezed his hand, our bond stronger than ever. 40 years of marriage, tested by this nightmare, had forged us into warriors. I'd hired a detective weeks ago, a quiet man named Harris, when Clara's visits grew too pushy. His reports confirmed her art gallery was failing, debts piling up to dangerous lenders. "She's desperate," Harris had told me, his voice low over coffee. "Victor's in deep, too." The camera in our living room, tucked behind my favorite bookshelf, caught their plot unfolding. Clara's voice on tape, sharp and calculating. "We tamper with the brakes, Victor. No one will suspect." Victor's reply, chillingly calm. "Accident's perfect. We get the house, the money." My sacrifice, decades of library work, dreams set aside, meant nothing to their greed. Now that footage was my weapon, ready to turn their world upside down. Clara lingered in the waiting area, her face pale as she spoke to a nurse. "Can I see my mom now?" Her voice dripped with false worry, a pause betraying her nerves. Victor stood beside her, his charm gone, eyes darting. "We're just shaken up," he muttered, rubbing his neck. Daniels watched them closely, his hand on his radio. "Stay there," he told them, his tone sharp. I signaled Nurse Jane, who'd helped earlier, whispering, "Tell the police to check my study." She nodded, her eyes wide but determined. "I'll pass it on." The study held a second camera, a backup I'd installed, capturing more of their damning talks. Clara's voice on that tape. "If they ask about money, deny everything." Victor's laugh. "They're too old to notice." The police moved fast, retrieving the second camera from our home. An officer returned, holding a USB drive. "This confirms the first footage," he said, his voice grave. "Clear evidence of premeditation." My heart leapt, a spark of triumph cutting through the pain. Clara overheard, her gasp sharp. "What footage? That's nonsense!" Her tone cracked, no longer sweet. Victor pulled her arm, hissing, "Keep it together." But their facade was crumbling, their lies exposed in real time. I sat up slightly, ignoring the ache in my ribs. "Officer, they planned to kill us," I said, my voice raspy but clear. Daniels nodded, his eyes kind. "We know, Mrs. Voss. You're safe now." Clara's eyes met mine through the glass door, panic flashing across her face. I confronted her silently in my mind, my plan unfolding. I'd planted that second camera after Harris's warning, expecting their greed to surface. It recorded Clara pacing our study, muttering, "The inheritance solves everything." Victor's cold agreement. "Crash looks natural." Their words were my ammunition, proof of their betrayal. In the ravine, I'd played unconscious, hearing Clara confess to Thomas's murder years ago. "I pushed him, Victor. He was in the way." Her voice had been cold, no remorse. Now, I was ready to face her, not as a victim, but as a force. The police prepared arrest warrants, their radios crackling. Daniels approached me, his tone firm. "We're moving in soon. Stay calm." Clara tried to enter my room, her voice shrill. "Mom, you're confused, right?" Her eyes searched mine, desperate for control. Victor hovered behind, sweating. "She's not thinking straight, officer." I stared back, my voice steady. "You thought I was weak, Clara. You're wrong." Her face paled, her hand trembling. What are you saying?" Victor cut in, his tone sharp. "She's delirious, that's all." But Daniels stepped forward, his voice cutting through. "We have recordings. You planned the crash." Clara froze, her sweet act gone. "No, that's a lie." Victor's jaw tightened, his eyes darting to the exit. Their alliance cracked, blame flickering between them. I felt a surge of liberation, my voice rising. "You killed Thomas for money, Clara. Now us?" Her gasp was real this time, her eyes wide. "How do you know that?" Victor hissed at her. "Shut up, you idiot." The officers moved closer, hands on their cuffs. I leaned forward, my tone cold but controlled. "Your words are on tape. Every single one." Clara's face crumpled, her voice breaking. "Mom, I didn't mean. It was an accident," Victor snapped. "Don't say anything." Their chaos was my victory, their lies unraveling before the police. Daniels nodded to me, a silent acknowledgement. "We've got enough. They're done." The footage played in my mind, each word a nail in their coffin. Clara's voice. "The brakes will fail on the curve." Victor's agreement. "We'll be heroes, saving ourselves." My sacrifice. 40 years of love, long library shifts had been mocked, but I wasn't powerless. I'd outsmarted them, my cameras capturing their greed. The hospital air felt lighter, justice within reach. Clara tried one last plea, her voice shaking. "Mom, please, you don't understand." I met her gaze, unflinching. "I understand perfectly. You're no daughter of mine." Victor glared, his charm gone. "This is your fault, Clara." She snapped back. "You pushed for the money." Their blame game sealed their fate. Officers moved in, cuffs ready. "Clara Voss, Victor Voss, you're under arrest," one said, his voice firm. Clara sobbed, her performance hollow. "This is a mistake." Victor's voice turned desperate. "She planned it, not me." Their unity shattered, just as I'd planned. I leaned back, exhaustion mixing with triumph. Walter squeezed my hand, his voice soft. "You did it, Eleanor." His eyes shone with pride, our bond unbroken. The police led them away, their shouts fading down the hall. My heart steadied, the weight of betrayal lifting. I'd turned the tables, my quiet strength their undoing. The cameras, my secret, had exposed their lies, and justice was coming fast. The police station buzzed with activity as Clara and Victor were processed, their handcuffs clinking against the metal desks. Officers led them away, Clara's sobs echoing down the hall. "This isn't fair," she cried, her voice breaking. Victor glared at her, his tone bitter. "You brought this on us." Their arrests were swift, charged with Thomas's murder and our attempted killing, the evidence from my cameras sealing their fate. The judge denied bail, citing their danger, and they faced life sentences without parole. Bankruptcy followed quickly. Their art gallery was seized to pay debts, leaving them penniless and disgraced. Newspapers splashed their story across front pages, headlines screaming, "Family betrayal exposed." Friends turned away, calls unreturned, their honor shattered in the public eye. I read the articles from my hospital bed, a mix of sorrow and resolve washing over me. Clara's allies, once loyal, vanished like smoke, their hollow support exposed as self-serving. Lily, Clara's 10-year-old daughter, became my focus amid the chaos, her innocent eyes wide with confusion. Social services called, their voice gentle. "Mrs. Voss needs a stable home." I agreed immediately, shielding her from the media storm swirling around her parents. Walter nodded beside me, his hand warm on mine. "We'll take her in," he said, his tone steady. Lily arrived that evening, clutching a small backpack, her voice soft. "Grandma, where's Mom?" I hugged her close, whispering, "She's away for now, but you're safe here." Her tears soaked my shoulder, a reminder of the fallout's reach. Victor's family distanced themselves too, calls going to voicemail, their loyalty crumbling like old paper. The community whispered, but I held my head high, knowing justice had prevailed without my gloating. We moved to a smaller home soon after, a cozy cottage with bright windows overlooking a garden, embracing the freedom it brought. Packing our old house felt bittersweet, boxes filled with memories of Thomas and Clara's childhood. Walter carried crates, his crutches thumping softly. "This feels right," he said, pausing to smile. Our bond had strengthened through the betrayal, 40 years of love tested and proven unbreakable. Lily skipped through the new rooms, her laughter a balm. "I like the colors here," she said, her eyes brightening. I watched her, my heart swelling with purpose. Mentoring her became my daily joy, guiding her to channel grief into art, her small hands painting vibrant scenes. "Like this, Grandma?" she asked, brush in hand. I nodded, my voice warm. "Perfect, Lily. Let it flow." The community library opened months later, a beacon of truth and healing in our town square, bookshelves lined with stories of resilience. Donors helped fund it, their voices supportive. "You've inspired us," one said, shaking my hand. Walter hung a plaque honoring Thomas, his engineering dreams etched in gold. Lily helped stock shelves, her smile genuine. "This is for Uncle Thomas," she whispered, placing a book carefully. The opening day drew crowds, neighbors sharing hugs and words of encouragement. Clara's old friends avoided the event, their absence a quiet confirmation of hollow ties. I stood at the podium, my voice steady. "Strength lies in facing the truth, no matter the cost." Applause filled the room, restoring my faith in human connection. Walter and I walked the garden that evening, his arm linked with mine. The sunset painting the sky in soft hues. "We've come far," he said, pausing to breathe the fresh air. Lily played nearby, her laughter mingling with bird song. The betrayal's scars faded slowly, replaced by moments of peace. Community members rallied around us, bringing meals and sharing stories, their support a warm embrace. "You're not alone," a neighbor said, her eyes kind. I reflected on it all, the pain of Clara's greed giving way to gratitude for what remained. Victor's desperate calls from jail went unanswered, his pleas hollow. "Tell her I'm sorry," he begged a lawyer, but I felt no pull to respond. Lily's art classes became a routine, her talent blooming under gentle guidance, sketches of our new home filling the walls. "This is us," she said, pointing to a drawing of our family. Walter chuckled softly, his eyes twinkling. "Looks just like it." Our smaller home felt vibrant, filled with light and laughter, a far cry from the shadows of betrayal. The library thrived, story hours drawing children, their voices a chorus of hope. I volunteered there daily, sharing books that taught resilience. my own story woven into quiet conversations. "Truth sets you free," I told a group, my tone thoughtful. Neighbors nodded, their faces reflecting shared wisdom. Clara's trial loomed, but I focused on healing, selective forgiveness guiding my heart. Lily deserved peace, untouched by her parents' sins. "Will Mom come back?" she asked one night, her voice small. I hugged her tight, whispering, "We'll face it together." Walter joined us, his presence steady. "Family is what we build," he said, his hand on her shoulder. The community's rally continued, with fundraisers for the library strengthening bonds. "You've shown us strength," a friend said, her embrace warm. I reflected on the journey, betrayal's sting softened by newfound joy. Clara's hollow world collapsed, but mine grew richer, rooted in truth. Victor's assets were liquidated, his luxury car sold to cover loans, his downfall complete. Clara's pleas from behind bars rang empty, her sweet tone gone. I visited once, through glass, her eyes pleading. "Mom, forgive me?" Her voice wavered. A pause heavy. I shook my head gently. "Some things can't be undone." Walter waited outside, his support unwavering. Lily's drawings adorned our fridge, symbols of hope amid the ruins. The library hosted events, drawing more visitors, their stories mingling with mine. "Healing takes time," I shared with a group, my voice warm. Neighbors rallied, volunteering shifts, their loyalty real and deep. Our evenings grew peaceful, Walter reading to Lily, his clocks ticking softly in rhythm. "This is home," he said, smiling at me. I nodded, my heart full. The betrayal had stripped away illusions, but left space for growth. Clara's allies, once vocal, faded into silence, their abandonment a final cut. But the community filled that void, their support restoring faith in kindness. I mentored Lily through her art, watching her confidence bloom. "You're strong," I told her, my hand on hers. She beamed, her eyes bright. The library stood as our legacy, a place of truth where stories healed wounds. The courtroom fell silent as the judge's gavel struck, sealing Clara and Victor's fate with life sentences for Thomas's murder and our attempted killing. Their convictions came without surprise, the evidence from my cameras overwhelming, their appeals denied in swift order. Clara's eyes met mine across the room, her face drawn and pale, but I felt no urge to gloat. Victor sat rigid, his once charming demeanor broken, his head bowed in defeat. The media frenzy faded quickly, headlines shifting to other stories, leaving them to face the consequences alone. Justice had been served, a quiet end to years of hidden pain, allowing me to close that dark door. Lily watched from my side, her small hand in mine, her voice soft. "Is it over, Grandma?" I nodded gently, whispering, "Yes, sweetheart. We move forward now." Forgiveness came selectively, my heart open and wide for Lily, an innocent caught in her parents' web of greed. She was a victim too, her young world upended by their choices. Her questions about Clara met with gentle truths. "Your mom made mistakes," I told her one evening, tucking her into bed. Walter added softly, his voice warm, "But we love you always." Lily's eyes searched mine, her tone hesitant. "Will she come back?" I hugged her close, my words careful. "Someday, perhaps. But you're home here." Her trust grew daily, her laughter filling our cottage, a reminder that love could heal even deep wounds. Clara's letters arrived sporadically, her handwriting shaky, pleas for understanding scrawled across pages. I read them quietly, feeling pity but no pull to respond, her betrayal a scar that time softened but never erased. Walter and I traveled at last, rediscovering joy in life's simple pleasures. Our first trip, a quiet drive to the coast where waves crashed against rocky shores. The sea air invigorated us, Walter's hand steady on mine as we walked the beach, shells crunching underfoot. "This is freedom," he said, pausing to watch the sunset. Lily joined us on shorter outings, her excitement bubbling over picnics and ice cream cones. "Look at the birds!" she exclaimed, pointing skyward. Our laughter mingled with the wind, moments of peace, rebuilding what betrayal had torn. Back home, our cottage garden bloomed with flowers Lily planted, her small hands digging soil, her voice bright. "They'll grow tall, like me." Walter chuckled, his eyes twinkling. "Just like you, strong and full of life." The community library thrived, its shelves overflowing with books that honored Thomas's memory, inspiring readers young and old to chase their dreams. Visitors came daily, their voices a hum of shared stories, and children gathered for readings where I shared tales of resilience. "This place is magic," a young girl said, her eyes wide. I smiled warmly, replying, "It's built on truth and love." Walter volunteered, too, repairing clocks for the reading nooks, his tools clinking softly. Lily helped organize events, her art displayed on walls, drawing smiles from neighbors. "You've created something special," a friend told me, her embrace genuine. The library became our anchor, a testament to healing where past pains gave way to future hopes. I built friendship slowly, creating a chosen family rooted in loyalty, neighbors becoming confidants over coffee and shared walks. "You've shown us courage," one said, her voice sincere. Walter and I hosted small gatherings, laughter filling our home, Lily at the center with her drawings. "This is family," Walter whispered one night, his arm around me. Our circle grew, bonds formed on trust rather than blood, a network of support that filled the voids left by betrayal. Clara's old acquaintances stayed distant, their silence a final confirmation of shallow ties, but I no longer mourned them. Instead, I cherished the real connections, phone calls from library patrons turning into lasting friendships. Family is trust, not blood, a lesson etched deep in my soul, showing elders hold unshakable power when we stand firm. I share this with you now, in quiet reflection, so you know your worth never fades, no matter the storms life brings. Self-esteem shines brightest in adversity, and I stand tall today, unbroken by the past, my spirit renewed. Freedom is living true to your heart, embracing each day with open arms, letting go of what no longer serves. Catharsis came through justice, empowering me to rise above the pain, turning betrayal into a story of strength. Lily's growth brought daily joys, her school projects filled with art inspired by our talks, her confidence blooming like the garden flowers. "I want to be like you," she said one afternoon, paint on her cheeks. I laughed softly, replying, "You're already stronger." Walter watched us, his smile content, our evenings spent reading together, pages turning in rhythm. The library hosted workshops, community members sharing skills. Their enthusiasm was contagious. "You've changed lives," a volunteer said, stacking books. I nodded thoughtfully, my heart full. Travels continued, short trips to nearby towns, discovering hidden gems like quaint bookstores and peaceful parks. Clara's conviction lingered in quiet moments, her face in dreams sometimes, but forgiveness for Lily anchored me. "She's like Thomas," Walter said, watching Lily play. Our chosen family expanded, with invitations to dinners and events strengthening ties. "We're grateful for you," a neighbor confided, her voice warm. Philosophical musings filled my journal, entries on resilience and love. words that healed old wounds. Freedom felt tangible now, in morning walks and evening stars, life's simple rhythms a gift. Lily's first art show at the library drew crowds, her pieces vibrant and full of hope, applause ringing out. "This is for you," she whispered, hugging me tight. Walter beamed proudly, his hand on my shoulder. "We've built something beautiful." The evening ended with stories shared, laughter echoing through the shelves. I reflected on it all, betrayal's shadow long gone, replaced by light. Elders like me hold power in our wisdom, a truth I live daily. Justice had empowered us, turning pain into purpose, a catharsis that set my spirit free. I share this intimately, as if whispering to a friend, hoping it inspires you to embrace your strength. Family is loyalty, woven from hearts that choose each other, unbreakable in its truest form. My journey taught me that a lesson wrapped in hope. The library lights dimmed as I tucked Lily in, her drawings a testament to hope. My journey from betrayal to strength taught me family is built on trust, not blood. I share this with you, my heart open, because your worth shines through any storm. Elders like us hold power in our resilience, a truth I live every day. Freedom is embracing your heart's truth, and I've found mine. This is my story, shared intimately, hoping it inspires you to stand tall. Did you like my story? What city are you from? See me in the comments. If you like it, support me with super thanks so I can continue telling stories like this. Thank you so much for your amazing support. I look forward to your comments. On screen, you'll see 2 new real-life stories I highly recommend. There are many more stories on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next story, with all love and respect.